Eustace? What are you doing here?
I should be asking you the same question.
Well, you see,
Actually, let's keep the explanation for another time. We have to hurry. Come on, follow me.
Eustace, you're back! What's going on?
They were inside. Found him on my way back.
Didn't Elliot specifically warn you not to go in there? And you? Why didn't you think of stopping her?
Leo, why would I stop her? She decides what she wants to do.
Oh, okay, well, try telling that to Elliot. Speaking of which, he mentioned something about wanting you to pass by his house. You better go. He might have figured out you went in there. Pretty dumb move from the both of you, might I add.
Why do you think he knows?
Estelle asked us where you were an hour ago since it was getting pretty late. He probably realized you ignored his request of not going in, so good luck with him.
Great. Now he's gonna be grumpy again. Let's get this over with, I guess.
Hey, Elliot.
Where were you, both of you? Actually, I have a feeling I already know where you went.
We were in the forest. No big deal.
What in every god's name in existence made you think that was a good idea?
We're completely fine, Elliot. Nothing happened.
Well, except this.
A pumpkin? Where did you find it?
There was this abandoned house that Nez showed me, and after looking around for a bit, we found...
Of course it was you who brought Keola in there!
Excuse me? What's that supposed to mean?
Do you even know how dangerous it could have been in that abandoned house you found? Did you even think of the fact that you might have been kidnapped or even—
Elliot, we're alive, aren't we? I don't get why you're so tense about this.
I'm tense because Keola was entrusted to me! Me, Nezzeta! Lord Griffin gave me the responsibility to keep her safe. Not Leo, not Aquila, not even Fira, his most trusted guard. But me. Why is it that you need to cause trouble, Nezzeta? Even after knowing what's hidden inside there, you still—
Listen up, idiot. I'm sorry we hurt your little feelings, but you don't have the right to accuse me.
Nez is right. I wanted to go in there. She just accompanied me in case something happened.
In case? Do you both think that those whoever or whatever they are ask people before kidnapping them? Before murdering them? God of Celeste, you two are crazy!
We need answers, Elliot. And for that, we need to make sacrifices.
Listen to us. This pumpkin seems off and it might lead us to something.
There's been enough sacrifices already. We don't need more.
Stop saying things like this for once and start using your own head instead of thinking like the Lord. Elliot, you're seeing what's happening in our world. If we keep on laying low—
What do you know about laying low? I know when I've reached the limit, it's time that you also learn to do so.
Guys, please.
At least I still have the faith and strength to try and find out the truth, unlike you and everyone else here. What's happened to you all? Why did you give up so easily? At least Keola here wants to try and help as well. But who will she help if you're all hopeless? Answer me, Elliot. Never mind. I'm leaving.
This whole thing was so unnecessary. I have a feeling this isn't the first time you've argued like this.
Nope. Lately I thought we were starting to get along, but I guess not.
Don't you think you're being a bit, I don't know, harsh?
You haven't seen nor heard our other arguments. Yes, I admit I lost my cool tonight, but usually it's her acting this way.
Deep down, you know we're right, Elliot. Especially Nezzeta. This village, these people... You can't just keep on living in fear. Eustace told me that my curiosity could get me killed the other day. And yes, he might be right. But that won't stop me from being curious. Nor will your warnings. Maybe me being in this world isn't a coincidence. I might have been sent here to help. And even if I sound like the most cliché main character from a badly written story published on the worst of fanfiction sites...
What are you talking about?
I feel like destiny brought me here. And what I want the most is to help in any way I can. But for me to be able to do so, I'll need others fighting alongside me, hopeful that this can one day end. What do you say, Elliot?
I'm still confused about the badly written story part.
Ignore that. So, are you with us?
Let me take a look at that pumpkin.
That's more like it.
She was right. Something feels off about this.
Right? It's super strange. Who would place a fresh pumpkin on the floor of an abandoned building in the middle of a forest? It doesn't make sense.
A jack-o'-lantern at that. What if it was placed there as a trap?
I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be talking right now if that were the case.
Right. Yes.
So, what do we do with this? Any ideas?
We could give this to Althea. There could be something that we cannot sense.
Who's Althea?
Well... how do I... Do you perhaps have... witches back on Earth?
You have got to be kidding me.
Should I take that as a no?
Aren't witches dangerous?
Yes? Or... well, no, but yes... sometimes... This one's friendly. Sometimes. But mainly friendly. Don't worry, you can trust her.
If you say so, sure. Let's pay her a visit then.
Sounds good. And, Keola,
Yeah? What's up?
thank you. For the speech, I mean. It made me realize I need to change some things.
You need to apologize to Nez. She also took part in this after all.
You're right. I'll do that tomorrow at some point. If I can even find her, that is.
Yeah, good luck. We finally made it.
You got tired from that?
You didn't?
Of course I didn't. I'm a guard. Going up a few steps is nothing compared to what Fira tells us to do for training. Now, let's try knocking.
Maybe she isn't home?
There's no way she'd answer you only with few knocks. Here's how you get her attention.
Althea, open the door or else.
Whoa.
Don't tell me you've never met a witch before. Actually, be glad you haven't until now. Witches are... something. Now come on, let's head inside.
Don't you know how to knock?
Don't you know how to give me the right potion and not one that'll make my books want to bite my head off? No, I don't know how to knock.
A book tried to kill you? Are you sure I can trust her?
I must have accidentally mixed potions up. My bad. This should turn them back to normal.
It better, or I'm gonna wake you up with 10 crates full of killer books next to your bed tonight.
Adis, don't you dare!
Sorry to interrupt, but you might want to see this.
And why would we want to see this exactly? It's just a...
No, it's not. You found this somewhere in the forest, correct?
Yeah. On the floor of an abandoned house.
Right, okay. Let me take a closer look.
So, do you feel any weird energy?
Shush! Let me focus.
Are you finished yet?
No, Elliot.
What about...
You did this to yourself. Still annoying, but a bit better. Now, if I hear you make a sound again, I'll do anything in my power to transport you to the Dragon Mountains. Understand? Good. Now, where were we?
Dragon Mountains?
You're new, so you probably don't know this, but this world is crazier than any other world you'll ever find. Trust me.
Yesterday night I learned for the first time that there's actual witches here, and now you're meaning to tell me that there's dragons? What's next? Elves? Maybe, I don't know, pirates?
Let me catch my breath. You're spot on. We do indeed have elves and pirates. Thankfully not in our area. Pirates are annoying to deal with after all.
Wait, this is a joke, right?
Nope, she's completely serious. Like I said, our world is crazy.
Anyways, back to this pumpkin. I sense something weird and slightly negative. I can't really place my finger on it, but Keola, would you mind leaving it with me for tonight?
Yeah, no, I don't mind. Also, how do you...
Know your name? I know things about people that no one else does around here, hon. Better get used to it.
I can look through my books to see if I can find any useful information on pumpkins. Maybe there's something hidden that's not on the magical side of things and more on the knowledge one.
We can also help you out.
Not so fast. I'd like to have a word with Elliot if you don't mind.
Just don't accidentally kill him, alright? We're heading to my amazing realm of books.
There's a realm of books?
Oh, I wish.
So, what type of book are we looking for exactly?
Anything that mentions the word pumpkin could be useful. I know I have a book specifically for that, but I have no idea where... Aha! Killer books. Thankfully, I remembered which bookshelf it was.
Wait a second. Could this be it?
Pumpkin Adventures is a book for children, sadly. My mother used to read it to me when I was younger.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. They're still alive after all. They just live in another village. Very far away. Anywho, what about you?
Now that you mention it, with everything happening these days, I forgot I have a family of my own that's probably worried sick right now.
Hopefully you'll get to see your family soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Anyways, let's continue searching.
There it is. Now, let's see if there's something useful here.
Ancient spiders, the hammer and the shield, myths of the Ryanaki kingdom. You sure have some very weird stories.
Oh, those are not stories. The story section's over there. These are actual places or things that are either still in this world or once were.
So there's a possibility that there's still ancient spiders, and you know what? I need to start getting used to the fact that everything in this dimension is insanely weird.
Oh, listen to this. Early on, pumpkins and their relatives gourds were thought to have protective qualities, particularly when it came to warding off evil spirits. Beyond protection, pumpkins were also thought to have healing powers. In some ancient cultures, pumpkin flesh was used to treat everything from freckles to snake bites. Maybe someone used it to protect themselves from something evil. An evil entity, perhaps?
Or use it to heal themselves. Although if that were the case, this pumpkin wouldn't be a jack-o'-lantern. Who would manage to heal anything with such small amounts of flesh?
Maybe they were small wounds? But no, that doesn't sound right either. If they did, they'd be using other methods to heal. I doubt anyone would use a pumpkin nowadays.
Anything else in that book of yours?
It says that pumpkins are associated with the moon and the element of water.
Interesting, although I don't think this fits our case.
And lastly, every pumpkin is a story. And it's a story that spans centuries, dimensions, and traditions. I wonder what this pumpkin story is.
Funny, back on Earth we have this thing called Halloween. It has some very fun traditions, and most importantly, pumpkins are used for it, although this wouldn't help our case either.
Could you tell me a bit about this Halloween of yours? I'd love to write down some information, since this is something new to me and I'm interested.
Oh, well, sure. Halloween is celebrated in... Never mind, scratch that. What we do on Halloween is go around trick-or-treating, which is basically an activity where children go around houses and knock on strangers' doors asking for treats.
What treats? Pumpkins?
No, pumpkins are part of the decoration usually. There's also activities such as pumpkin carving, although I've never really done it myself since it can get really messy. Treats are candy bars and other things that children like for snacks. And if they don't get a treat, you're bound to get a trick. And the trick being eggs thrown at your house and doorstep, or tomatoes, or worse. At least in my area, it's eggs and tomatoes. Yeah, don't ask how that gets cleaned up.
How can a child do something like this? This is unacceptable.
You could really get surprised by what a kid can do in this time and age. Or, well, my time and age.
Could you tell me more?
Never leave me alone with Altea ever again. Understand?
Whoa, buddy, you alright?
What did you and Altea talk about?
It's, nothing important. Please tell me you found something valuable while I was gone.
Well, what we found is not nothing.
Adis, this is technically nothing.
Who knows, this could be nothing now, but be something later on. Let's not lose hope yet. I think I've got a plan, but Elliot, you won't like it one bit. I think it's worth going back to the house and looking for some more clues.
How about the day after tomorrow? I'm on patrol all day tomorrow, and this time I'd like to accompany you. In case...
I appreciate that, Elliot, but for this to happen, you'll need to talk to Nez, you know? She's the only one who knows where this house is located.
Yeah.
This isn't good.